Glenn Parker, High Vibration Foundation. Thank you for joining me. So I want to talk about the difference between following your highest excitement and running off and doing whatever you want to do and being supported by your excitement, and the ego and the rational mind, which is the personality construct to keep you safe. You know, the ego is there to keep you safe. That personality construct is there to keep you safe, and it needs to know what the hell's going on so that you can be. So that it can quantify the next step and the next step and the next step and know that it's going to have what it needs in the way of information so that it knows what the next step is in keeping you safe. When you just go and follow your highest excitement and you go, oh, I'm going to go take a walk today, and from taking your walk, you end up getting and meeting and running into someone who commissions art from you if you're an artist or a photographer or whatever you happen to do, ends up spinning off into a different timeline that you're supported. Because the inspiration from the higher mind was to go take a walk and you followed it. Well, the rational mind doesn't want anything to do with that. It's like, well, I don't like that. I don't know what's going on. I can't figure out what's going on. I don't know if you're going to be safe. And that's my job, is to keep you safe. The personality construct is there to keep you safe. So, me personally, this little tug of war between the two, in the 3D reality, which is the ego construct and the personality construct, and the 4D reality, this highest excitement, this vibration of following your true natural self, you can feel it, and you can feel that tug and that string, but then you have the ego. And this doesn't occur for everyone. It has occurred for me consistently, back and forth. It's getting better and better and better. And I think a lot of these exercises that are out there, like Bashar's 11-11 exercise, there's two different versions of that. There's one where you're the 11-11 to a parallel reality, to one of your parallel selves, and picturing it as a mirror, and then in the mirror it's no longer a mirror, it's not a reflection, it's an actual piece of glass, and you're seeing an actual true parallel reality self. And there's a divergence, and then you do some exercises where you imagine some manifestation and it reflects through the mirror. I've experienced some great unconditional love reflected back, not during the exercise, but thinking back to the exercise and to another parallel self, and reflecting back that particular vibration. And the other exercise, the other 11-11, is like what would be called a psychomantium, which is used to contact the spirit realm, and it is being used to contact your higher self, to get used to having a dialogue with your higher self. And getting used to following this vibration, it makes it easier to follow your highest excitement, because when I do those exercises, I do much better. And you're picturing yourself in this mirror, and the physical representation of your own body is a representation in energetic form and physical form of your own self. Now, if you haven't seen these exercises, I suggest going to bashar.org and checking them out. If you can't find them, email them and they'll send you the link to the proper one. These exercises are fantastic, and they get you better able to follow the thread of your highest excitement more and more and more by being more familiar with it. It's like any mental exercise. The brain has tremendous neuroplasticity, and the plasticity is the brain can rewire itself miraculously very quickly, and it has a tremendous plasticity. It's just like it sounds, it's malleable. And so the more you practice the 3D ego, the more you're tending to stay in that, and the more you practice following your higher mind, the better, and the more to the 4D reality that you'll go. Now, Bashar, if you actually ask questions to Bashar physically in person, whether at a seminar or if you do like a one-on-one with Darryl and speak to Bashar, it's there's a blending between your higher self and Bashar's personality, and it's there, and it changes as a percentage during every moment. Like it might be 50-50, 30-70, whatever it happens to be, between your higher self, and it's there to get you used to the feeling and the vibration of your higher self, so that you can follow that thread and that vibration, so that you can follow your highest excitement. So If you're finding any difficulty following your excitement, if the ego and the higher mind is getting in the way, there's tons of exercises that can be done. There's tons of things. Now, this is just a limited amount. There's things from the Hathors. There's exercises from Adronis. There's suggestions from TReb. I mean, there's no lack of permission slips from different entities to be able to get to where you need to be. Abraham-Hicks, I mean, that's a collection of entities. So there's no lack of stuff out there. So there's really no excuses to following your highest excitement. And, you know, I think being judgmental about yourself too, about following your highest excitement, also is not following your highest excitement, because that's the ego side, that's the personality side tricking you, saying, hey, you know, the little Tweety bird going, hey, you know, you're not following your highest excitement. I don't know how that's going for you. You know, it's beliefs have to be self-reinforcing for you to have a unique, discrete belief system experience, to have a unique physical reality experience. And they're constructed in a way so that they reinforce themselves. So you basically have to do some of these exercises that Bashar is suggesting in other entities, one of which is the threshold of believability, to see and to take apart belief systems. Because once you take it apart and you see it for what it is, it evaporates. It's no longer necessary. And that was the game you wanted to play. You wanted to come here and play a game with yourself, and to be an immortal being in a timeless reality, and to see what it was like to forget and to go into great limitation, and to see how you would fare. It was an exciting idea to go, hey, I'm not going to remember who I am. The entire rest of existence remembers who they are when they actually incarnate into a physical body. And I wanted to see what that was like, and you know, it is a unique experience, obviously. And now, at this pinnacle of going between 3D reality and 4D reality, is the unique experience of remembering. Now you remember that you're an immortal being in a timeless reality, and all this information has been coming through since way back when. For instance, Abraham-Hicks and the law of attraction was introduced in the 90s, in the early 90s, I think it was. And more entities started bleeding through later on, and you have the Seth materials, and you have all this information that's been sitting out there, and you have wonderful people like Eckhart Tolle coming, you know, and sharing all this information. So there's no lack of permission slips, there's no lack of information in this time of reawakening, and it's called reawakening because you are remembering that you are an immortal being in a timeless reality, so that you can have enough comprehension of who and what you are, and come to a conscious state and to a time where you can actually be in full remembrance of the part of your spirit self and the part of your physical self simultaneously. And that is coming up quite soon and should be quite a unique experience. I know Epsilon has come through and has been channeled through Darryl Anka, and has said that everything will change in the fall of 2016, which is coming up quite quickly. And everything will change. And Bashar has suggested that the information in the Great Pyramid of Giza and under the Sphinx would be revealed at some point in time around that same timeline. So if that means that the most of that information will be revealed, and people realize that they're just not themselves, that Earth isn't an isolated place in the universe, that there are other entities out there. There's going to be a lot of us that's going to be a repository for this information, to be able to go and actually have conversations with people that are going to want this type of information, especially when it becomes public that, you know, extraterrestrials do exist, and they've been channeling, like for Darryl Anka, Bashar has been channeling for over 30 years now, and he has always represented himself as an extraterrestrial from another species in another place. And I think once that becomes public awareness, that there's going to be a lot of people that have a lot of questions. So there'll be a lot of people, I know Rob Ganter and I have talked about this briefly, that you know, it's important to have people out there that are a repository, and places that are repositories. He's been building up his site, and a lot of other people have been building up their websites and places, so that when people do look for that information, when it becomes time, that they can find what's relevant for what they're looking for. Well, thank you very much. It is an honor to speak to you. Thank you for watching. And if you have any questions, please send them. And if you like this video, please subscribe. I'm starting to get back on track to do other videos. And you should see a ton of videos coming out soon. I know in a 60-day span, I did almost 50 videos. So I'm feeling that trend coming back on, where I'm going to be having quite a few and a number of videos coming out on a variety of topics. Thank you very much, and have a fantastic day. Love and light.